Hi guys, it's Marieta. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today I'm doing a live day 3, which is going to be about how you actually apply for your visa, which is step 3. Yesterday I was talking about the incorporation and what should you consider before you incorporate entity in the United States. Day 1, step 1 was about how to validate the idea, because that is very important if you want to later incorporate and if you want to later apply for your visa. And so if you missed those videos, you can go back and you can check them out. They are still available if you check my Facebook page or if you check the videos on my YouTube channel. And so today I'm covering step 3, which are the main requirements for E2 visa, investor visas, entrepreneur visa. In other words, if you want to apply for this visa type eventually because you want to manage the business in the United States. And also I'm going to cover how can you start small and how can you actually start without no money, especially if you're just starting out. And yesterday, for whatever reason, the comment section wasn't working, so I wonder if it's working today. If you have any questions, you can ask me, so I'm happy to answer it for you. And if for whatever reason I don't see your comment, I guess there is something off with the setting. But even though you join later and maybe you're going to watch this video after I'm done live streaming, you can still leave a comment below the video. So let me just check if it's properly set up and then I'm going to start. It should be set up. Yesterday, for whatever reason, I was not able to see. Try to type something, guys. Just type, introduce yourself. I want to see if I'm able to see your comment. Because then, like yesterday, people kept asking questions and I was just not responding because I didn't see those comments. I have no idea why. Like, I can see there are people watching, but I don't know like who is there and I don't see your comments. So I don't know what it means. Like, why, what is wrong with that? Yeah, like I don't see your comments. That's weird. Let me see. Here are some settings. Okay, I have no idea, honestly. So I'm just gonna carry on because I don't want to do something. I see a bunch of likes now. 1 second, guys, sorry. Okay. Hi, okay, I see your comments, cool. And I think I made a dot. If you see the white dot, I don't know how to get rid of it. So anyway, just bear with me. All right, cool. So the first step, guys, is really to understand the requirements. And if you are new, if you are new to my Facebook or to my YouTube, I want to say that there are I have like a bunch of different videos. There is the entire playlist on this topic. So if you want to dig deeper, you can check out the playlist, which is available at youtube.com/ImmigrationBiz. Entire playlist, full playlist that has a lot of information. What are the E2 requirements? So today I'm going to briefly cover the requirements and then I'm going to cover how can you actually start small without necessarily investing, which is very important because many of you have great idea, but you don't have the funds. So how can you get started without any money? So that being said, what are the main requirements? Well, first of all, if you want to apply for a work visa as an entrepreneur, you need to understand that basically there are 2 options for you. One is called E2, another one is called L. The L visa is for people who are not from a treaty country, meaning like you can be from anywhere. However, you need to show that you are running a business back home for at least 1 year in preceding 3 years, and you are employed as a manager or executive in that company, or director, for example, or the founder, right? And then you can expand and you can open up affiliated office in your United States. Now, what if you don't have any business? What if you don't run any company, right? In that case, don't worry about L visa and focus on E2 visa. Now, with E2 visa, there are slightly different requirements. One of them, you must be coming from the treaty country. And so if you are not from a treaty country, then honestly, you There's nothing you can do. The only option would be L visa. So you need to start a business first in your home country and later, 1 year later, consider establishing affiliated office in the United States, right? But if you are from a treaty country, then you can proceed and you can consider E2 visa option. Hi Kosim, nice to see you. Thanks for stopping by. So you need to be from the treaty country, right? There is a list of treaty countries. If you want to find out, visit ImmigrationBiz.com, and I have a blog post specifically that is listing the countries, E2 visa countries. So if you are interested, you can do that, or simply just Google E2 treaty country list, and you will find a list of countries, and you will see if your country is on the treaty list. So that's what you're going to do. The second thing you're going to do, you need to understand that in order to apply for this visa, you need to have actual business, running, operational, active, real business in the United States. So you need to start a business, right? You need to do everything and then only apply for a visa. People think that first they apply for a visa and then they start a business. No, you first need to start a business. You need to invest. You need to show that you have invested or you are in the process of investing substantial amount of capital. And then, okay, my phone is falling again. Sorry. Same thing was going on Monday or Tuesday, whenever I was doing the first live. Okay, let me check this. Okay. Hopefully it's gonna stay. Stay, please, stay. All right, so then you're gonna do the, you're gonna invest substantial amount of capital, right? And I'm gonna cover it. What does it mean, the substantial amount of capital? So you will understand like, what does it even mean, like substantial amount of capital? So you need to have actual business. It has to be real operating business. People think they can apply first for a visa and then they start a business. No, it doesn't work like that. You first need to start a business, and once everything is done and set up and you are able to show that you are engaged in real operating business, only then you can actually finally apply for your E2 visa. Hi Nick, nice to see you. So don't do that mistake. Don't think that you're just gonna open a corporate bank account, you're gonna wire funds, and then once you wire the funds, you are ready to apply. No, you actually need to start a business. You need to show the business is real and active and operational. So these three things itself, it's going to take you some time, right? So for example, if you're going to invest into a real estate, if you're going to buy a property, well, that's great. Sometimes it's obviously more than 100,000. Sometimes it's even more than 1 million. However, if it's residential property, that does not qualify you to apply for E2 visa. You actually need to show that this business is active, is real and operational. And therefore, investment into residential property is considered passive investment and you would not qualify. And because of that, there are actually many people who invested substantially. However, they invested into passive real estate investment, which does not qualify them for E2 visa, right? It would be a situation when you, for example, invested and then you turn that investment into more active business. For example, you turn that investment into a company that is doing, for example, flipping properties, right? And those activities would be considered as active, and because of that, you will be able to apply for E2 visa. So you will really need to sort of have a strategy on, especially when it comes to real estate into investment, how you can go from that investment into E2 visa. So I was just giving you an example. Of course, if you, for example, engage in business, for example, you're gonna start a consulting company, you are engaged, you are providing services, consulting services. Of course, you are engaged, everyday engagement, you are actively managing the business, and you're good to go. You need to also understand that one of the requirements is that the business must not be marginal. This is huge. People think that, okay, I'm going to open up the LLC, I'm going to open up a bank account, I'm going to wire the money, and then I'm ready to apply for the visa. And that's not necessarily true. You don't qualify because you need to show the business is not marginal. So what does it essentially mean is that you are generating, the company is already generating, is active, operational, and is already generating more than your minimum living expenses per month, right? So you have to calculate what are your costs, how much are you actually spending, how much do you need to survive and live comfortably in the United States, depending on the location, depending on the state, whether it's you or you have a family. You know, all these you have to calculate, and based on that you need to establish and determine how much your company needs to generate per month to sustain the living, right? Otherwise the company is marginal And because company is marginal, you will not be approved. Your petition will not be approved. And again, that is something you have to keep in mind, because really E2 visa process is not just getting a visa, it's about actually establishing a company that is successful, really. So it's about business development, and you need to understand these requirements properly. It's not just about wiring funds, it's not just about sending money overseas to the United States and then applying for a visa, because you don't qualify at that point. Another very big misconception is people think you need to invest 100,000, right, or more, and that's not true. Again, the definition is the investment must be substantial, and you need to show that you invested or you are in a process of investing. And the way it's calculated, it depends on your particular business model, on your business model. Every business model is different. If you are buying existing business, for example, you're buying existing restaurant, the cost of the purchase cost is, I don't know, $300,000. There is a different investment, whereas when you're starting a business, for example, digital agency, and you just need $50,000 to just get started, or even less. Maybe you are starting aromatherapy shop. Obviously, the startup costs are very different there. Whereas when you're actually buying existing business, for example, or you're starting a restaurant or bakery shop, it depends on the business, honestly. If you ask me, is there any particular preference, what kind of business should I start? No, there is none. You start any kind of business as long as you are actively engaged in that particular business. Again, keep that in mind, as I mentioned. If you are passively investing in a real estate, that would not be considered as an active investment. And because of that, if you want to invest into a real estate, you need to turn that investment into active business. Like I already gave you that example. So these are things that you should consider when you are applying and you are planning to apply. And like I always advise people, just think about the business, how you want to establish the company, and think about the end goal, which should not be the visa, but your own American dream. That is your own end goal, right? And if you want to be successful and happy, you have to know the roadmap, and you need to understand, like, how can I actually make that happen? So really don't even think about the visa. The visa is just the last thing, one step on the way, which will make it happen if you do the other steps in order. If you execute every single step properly, you will get the visa. So now, how can you start without actually investing, right? Can you actually start? First of all, you can incorporate LLC without visa. You don't need to have a visa to incorporate, to form entity in the United States. And again, yesterday I was talking about how to incorporate, so you can go back and check it out if you missed my yesterday live video. And you will understand the process, what's the importance, the difference between LLC and C Corp I was describing yesterday. So go back and check it out. And you can incorporate without visa, right? You don't need a visa to incorporate. So people think that they need visa in order to come to the United States to open up a business, and you don't. Obviously, if you come to the United States, you need some sort of visa. Either it's going to be B visa or ESTA, right? But you don't need a work visa to open up a company. So that's one thing. Another thing, you can hire a person who's going to manage the business for you while you are away or while you are in the United States on B visa, because you should not be working under B visa, right? You don't want to work under B visa or under ESTA because you are in breach of status, immigration status, or whatever visa status you are on. So don't work under B visa or ESTA. But you can hire someone who's going to manage the business for you, and that is perfectly okay. So that being said, you can actually start offering services. If you are selling services, if it's consulting type of business model, you can start generating money even though you are, for example, in the United States. If you have a person who is actually managing the company for you, or you leave the United States and you can still generate sales while you are abroad, and you are generating the sales under a company incorporated in the United States. So you can actually start making money, you can start making profit. If you are outside of the United States and you are already incorporated in the United States, with this entity, you can generate sales. Now, is it legal? Absolutely, it's legal as long as you are not staying in the United States under B visa or ESTA. And if you are staying on the B visa or ESTA, you make sure you have people who are managing the business for you, at least one person manager. Otherwise, that will be considered illegal. So that's one thing. Another thing is, in some cases, the startup costs are rather low, especially when it comes to service-oriented business models. You can just start and you don't necessarily need to invest. You can start right away. You can start offering your services. You can, you can make sales right away, and that is all perfectly legal. So the question is, can I start without any investment? Yes, you can start. You can start right away. Like, that is how I started my business. It's a law firm, obviously. So I started actually with online services. Like, I was offering my services via different websites that I set up in different jurisdictions. This was back in 2010. And because back then I didn't have a visa, I couldn't work in the United States. That's why I left the United States. I couldn't find an employer, and I started to offer services from a different country, which obviously I was offering immigration service. And that is how I started, and obviously this was consulting type of business. So it was very easy to actually close sales and make money right away. And so I was able to demonstrate that my business is active and is operational. On top of that, you can later get a loan, or you can use, because still, even if you start generating profit, right, you start making money. That's amazing. Sometimes people ask me, I'm already making money, but I don't know how can I apply for E2 because my company is self-sustaining, and can I still apply for E2? And that's amazing, it's self-sustaining. It's amazing that it's already operational and you are already making profit. But if you want to meet the requirements as an E2 investor, you still need to show that you are at risk. Your money are at risk, and you need to show that you have invested at least some amount to show that you are meeting the requirements. Otherwise, you would not qualify under E2. So what I'm saying here is that you can start making money, and then you can actually take the money and then reinvest back to your company, or get additional loans or whatever, withdraw the money from the company as a dividend and then reuse it back, and you can use that as part of the investment. But I would also combine it with other options, like you would get a loan, or maybe you have some savings from different business activities, or maybe, whatever, it's inheritance, gift, donation, whatever. The money you need to obtain from a legal source. As long as it's from a legal source, it's good, and you can combine different sources, right? The point is you can start right away, especially when it comes to service-oriented business models. Of course, if you're selling products, you might need initial capital, and for that matter, you might need to get a loan. And when you are getting a loan, make sure it's a secure loan. And if you're thinking to raise funds, that's also great. But when you're raising funds and you want to give away your equity, in that case, you would not qualify for E2, because in E2, you need to show that you are the investor, you are taking the risk, you have invested, or you are in the process of investing substantial amount of capital. You already know what it means because I already explained that. And the business is not marginal, it's real active operational, and you are from the treaty country, right? And another requirement is you are capable to further develop the business. So your background, your skills should be able to, because of your background and because of your skills, you are able to demonstrate that you are able to actually manage and further develop this business. So for example, if you never managed business in the past and you have no idea how to do marketing and sales, you better show that you have hired someone who is qualified to do that, right? But maybe you have a degree in business and you never managed a company before. So can you still start your business? Yes, you can. Even though you are aspiring entrepreneur, you can, as long as you show by the evidence that everything is taken care of, everything is put in place. Maybe you hire some other people who will help you, and these people are qualified. So you just need to show that you have skills in place. If you don't personally have the skills, you need to hire people who have those skills, just to make sure the business will be active and will be profitable, right? But if you don't have prior background, if you don't have prior skills, you don't have prior education, that's going to be rather challenging, because you are not able to show that you have the skills that are required to establish this particular business and to make it successful, right? For example, when I started my business, I had law degree, right? I have a license to practice law, but nobody taught me how to run a business. So if you think about it, technically, I didn't have the skills, right? I didn't have the background, the business background. I didn't have a MBA degree. I didn't have prior experience as a business owner, entrepreneur. So when you think about it, technically, technically, like, how is it possible that I'm able to run my business? That would be a good question to ask, right? However, don't worry about it. What's important is that you are able to find a way. And even if you don't have that background, you can maybe hire a team, marketing team that is going to help you out, or learn, get the certification trainings on marketing, and then show, include it as your evidence. All right, I'm actually trained marketer now. So even though I don't have the background, now I do have the certification and training that is going to help me to get there. So I hope it makes sense what I'm sharing here with you today. That being said, guys, if you're ready and you want to start a process, my American Dream Accelerator program is currently open. I'm closing the enrollment on Monday evening, Pacific Standard Time. And if you are interested to work with me, again, this is falling down. Oh my God. Ooh, sorry. If you are interested, you can sign up for the free call with me. I already shared the link about this video. If you watch me on YouTube, it's going to be below. And just fill out the questions, answer the questions to see if you qualify. And I'll jump on a quick call with you and see if I can help you, if I can enroll you to the program. I want to make sure that you are a good fit. That's why I'm doing these calls with people. I don't want just people, random people, just sign up, because I don't want to do the refunds. I prefer to see and pre-qualify you if you are a good fit. It's only limited to a few people, because I don't want to have a big group. I rather have small group and focus on delivering. So if you're someone who is really seriously thinking about this process and you want to turn that idea into reality and you want to create successful business, and of course you want to live your American dream, obviously, then definitely this would be way to go for you. All right, question, let me see. What are you asking? What if someone didn't have enough funds to establish the business? I already answered that, right? If you don't have enough funds, you need to get a loan or just start. And what kind of business are you talking about? Give me exactly specific business, Qasim, so I can answer that properly. What about services business? We sell services, don't have any intangible business like property. Yeah, like consulting businesses are great. You can totally do consulting. Any kind of consulting business, you are actually selling service, you are consulting, providing, offering consulting service, it's fine. You don't necessarily need to sell any tangible products. That's fine. You can do any kind of business actually, as long as you are actively engaged with the business, right? As long as you are actively engaged, as long as you are participating, you're good to go. And you can just start, because people don't start. They think about, oh, I need to invest 100K, 200K, 300K, 400K, 500K. Guess what, guys? When I started, I didn't have any money. I was in debt, like seriously, I was in debt. And when I consulted with immigration attorneys back then, they all told me you need to invest 150, 250K. And I was like, oh my God, are you serious? Like, how am I going to make this thing happen? So you just need to start, and you need to start and do it step by step, and you get there. So every time we think about the end goal, we focus on the end goal, we start freaking out because you have no idea how we're going to get to that end goal. But to be honest, all you need to do is to take the next step and the next step and the next step and the next step, and then you're going to get there. But if you don't take any steps, you don't even start, because you feel overwhelmed and you're freaking out because you don't have the funds, which is obviously the main reason why people don't even start, then you're never going to get there. That's one thing. And another thing is, again, like I have 400 videos on my YouTube. You're free to check them out. You can study everything, and that's great. But at the same time, sometimes people come to me and, because they don't understand the system, the process, the roadmap, maybe they're already operational, maybe they have a company operational, and I don't want you to do any mistake on the way. For example, you have to be careful, because that's why I say you need to have a roadmap, right? Like, you don't need to know how you get there exactly 100%, but at the same time, you need some sort of blueprint and the roadmap. And the roadmap I teach in the American Dream Accelerator. Certain steps you need to understand and you need to take, and you need to do it in a way that it's not going to impact your immigration status, because, some people even think that what I'm teaching here today, starting without investment, is actually illegal. There are people who think that, right? What I'm doing is every time I'm sharing things I've done myself or my clients have done. Everything I've done, and sometimes it might be outside of the box. For some people, definitely it looks like it's outside of the box, but it worked. It worked for me or it worked for other people. So I would not share something that is illegal or is something that I don't believe it works or I don't have a proof that it works. Hi, my name is Ahmed. I'm from Germany. Nice to meet you. I have one question. Yeah, shoot the question, Ahmed. Foreign educational consultancy. Cool. Okay, that's cool. You can, I mean, I believe Kosi, honestly, a year ago you mentioned this business to me and you still, like, why aren't you already in the United States? What's blocking you? Honestly, what is blocking you? You want to have another year like that? Hello, what kind of topic? What do you mean, what kind of topic? Guanti, what do you mean, what kind of topic? Can be any kind of business. Okay, guys, I think I covered pretty much everything I wanted to cover today. Now, I hope it's clear. I hope that you guys understand the requirements now properly. If you want to dig deeper, like I said, I do have the entire playlist, E2 visa playlist available if you want to check it out, youtube.com/ImmigrationBiz. And for those who, let's see. Okay. Cool. Yeah. And for those who are interested, you can book the call with me. The link I already shared. Yeah, and stay tuned for the next videos. I'm probably going to do a webinar, coming up webinar next week, sometimes next week. The webinar is going to be more general. It's going to also cover L visa option for people who are not necessarily from the treaty country. And if you are interested, you can just put your name on the list. So you need to be on the list in order to be notified, and in order to get to the list, you just check the ImmigrationBiz.com, my website, and just get your name on the newsletter, and then you will be notified about the upcoming webinar. So I hope it makes sense, and thank you so much for tuning in. And if you watch replay of this live stream, you can leave a comment below and I'll try to answer it as soon as I can. And of course, if you are watching me on YouTube and you are new to my channel, make sure to subscribe. And also you need to hit the little icon on the right or left, which is going to notify you whenever I release a new video. So do that if you haven't done that yet. And I'll see you in my next video. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you later, guys. Bye, guys. Bye, Qasim. Bye, guys.